Hello everyone, welcome to Time Chat. I'm your host, Dr. Yvonne Khan. Today on Time Chat, we'll be exploring public service, community empowerment, and speaking with New York City Council candidate Ali Nazmi. For centuries, New York City has been the destination for immigrants from around the world. From early Dutch settlers to generations of Europeans many years later, New York City established itself as America's melting pot many, many years ago. It was only in 1965 that the United States changed its anti-Asian immigration laws to allow immigrants from China, India, Korea, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, just to name a few. Though immigrants from China and Korea had started migrating to major American cities in the 1970s, it wasn't until the 1980s and 1990s that South Asians started migrating to the United States in larger numbers. Today, South Asians can be found in each of New York City's 5 boroughs, neighboring areas like Long Island, Westchester, New Jersey, as well as communities all over the United States. Despite the fact that Asians are one of the highest earning income groups nationwide, Asian representation in public service is still lacking when compared to the tech sector, finance industry, and of course, our nation's healthcare system. Today's guest on Time Chat is an experienced attorney, community organizer, and candidate for New York City Council. Ali Nazmi is a progressive Democrat running for the New York City Council, District 23 in Queens. Ali has led several efforts to increase funding for youth programs in his community, and he has rallied to improve local public schools and even expand library services. Ali was instrumental in formulating civil rights legislation and writing laws to protect religious freedom as well. He has worked closely with labor unions as the political director for the Alliance of South Asian American Labor, ASAL, and Ali is also the co-founder of the Muslim Democratic Club of New York. While Ali's track record in serving his community is unparalleled, we here at Time Chat want viewers to hear from him firsthand as we work towards electing him as the first South Asian elected to New York City Council. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our good friend Ali Nazmi. Ali, thank you so much for joining us here on Time Chat.
Thank you. It's good to be home here at Time Television, a studio I know very well.
Absolutely. We've missed you. I know it's been a very busy summer campaigning. How's the campaign been?
Campaign is going excellent. It's going great. We have been getting the support of so many people in the district. I've been knocking on doors. My campaign has knocked on thousands of doors. We've identified a substantial amount of support of people who are going to vote for us on September 10th. We've raised a substantial amount of money, and everything is going really well. Excellent.
Fantastic. District 23. For viewers at home unfamiliar or who may be living near or nearby, please tell us exactly where it's located.
It's one of the neatestly drawn districts in the city council.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these districts are oftentimes gerrymandered and have crazy shapes. So mine's a pretty standard rectangle. It goes from 188th Street, which is the western boundary. That's where it starts. It goes east to the Queens County-Nassau County border.
Okay.
Jamaica Avenue is the southern boundary, and the Long Island Expressway is the northern boundary.
So that's pretty heavily populated. That includes the neighborhoods of Queens Village, Hollis, Belrose, Floral Park, South Jamaica, there, and even Hollis Hills.
Yeah, so it includes areas, not South Jamaica, but Jamaica Estates is in there, Fresh Meadows, et cetera. So it's got a huge population. This district is 40% Asian, mostly South Asian.
Wow.
You know, it's a plurality Asian district. It's a district that's majority people of color because it's 15% black, 15% Latino, 30% white. And it's a wonderful district, one that I'm born and raised in. I know everything about this district. I'm born and raised and still live in Glen Oaks. You know, I went to the schools here. I still live here, and I've been very active in the district.
Excellent. We want to inform viewers that the primary is on September 10th, Tuesday, September 10th. That's the really important date.
You know, actually, it's a Thursday this year.
It's a Thursday?
Yeah, this is like the first time ever they're having it on a Thursday.
Okay.
And I believe there was a Jewish holiday that week, so they moved it.
All
so
right.
It's a Thursday. It's very unconventional that it's on Thursday, September 10th.
So that may work in your favor. So Thursday, September 10th is the important date. What do you hope to bring to your district once you're elected city council member?
Look, right now this district has a lot of people that have been neglected in it. A lot of people, particularly from our community, from the South Asian community, and a lot of immigrant communities that have been neglected and haven't had their voices heard. This campaign is actually premised on uniting all the different communities in this district, right? And when you look at roads like Jamaica Avenue, Jamaica Avenue is one of the worst kept roads in this part of town.
Yep.
And that would not exist in other parts of this district. And so we're, you know, one of the big things I'm talking about to people in Queens Village is fixing Jamaica Avenue. Education is a huge priority for us. You
Absolutely.
obviously have a legacy in education, and
Thank
a
you.
lot of the reasons that the people that move to this district are for the schools.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? Queens Village and in this district, you will only find that this is the only place in New York City that the mayor and the governor have decided to turn a school into a prison. On 207 Jamaica Avenue, the Merrick Academy, former charter school building, is now being designated to be a limited security juvenile detention facility.
So I think we'd all agree that we'd love to see more schools built, not prisons built, especially for our youth.
Absolutely, and that's a big part of my campaign.
Okay.
It's kind of ridiculous that they're dumping it on Queens Village the way they are. It's, juvenile delinquent facility is a very fancy word for prison.
Yeah.
And, we're already short on school space, particularly in District 29 schools, which this school district includes District 26 and 29. And, 29 needs definitely a lot of help. We already have overcrowded schools there, and we should be preserving school space, not giving it away for prisons. The other thing I really am fighting for, and that is a big part of my campaign, is senior programs.
Okay.
There's no 5-day-a-week senior program in this district where anybody can go and get a service and instruction and healthcare in a language such as Bengali or Urdu or Punjabi. And you know what? I would work with a lot of people to get a program started in the district next door, a 3-day-a-week program at Jamaica Muslim Center. And that's a pilot that I want to take to this district and expand to 5 days a week.
So I know you had a lot of a hand in the Jamaica Muslim Center, Senior Center, and it looks like you're looking to replicate that, inshallah, in your own district of District 23. What's it like representing the district you've grown up in your whole life? And these are the neighborhoods of Queens Village, Hollis, Bellerose, Floral Park, Glen Oaks, and you're from that district. What's it like to be this close to representing them?
It's great. I love this community. This community has given me so much, and it's great to have the opportunity to give back to it in this way, And I think that for the people of the district and the voters, it means a lot to them to hear that there's somebody born and raised in this district that wants to represent them, because it and in fact, there are other candidates that are parachuting in from all over the place to run in this open seat, and it's kind of insulting to the people of the district. But for me, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I was born in this district at Long Island Jewish Hospital. I went to PS 115, which is a poll site I look forward to campaigning in front of.
Yep.
MS 172. I played in Glen Oaks Little League.
Yep.
And I know what makes this district great.
So do I. I mean, a lot of folks at home should know that Ali and I had actually a chance to grow up together in the same district, and we share a lot of the same friends.
Right.
And a lot of our youth has been spent on the playgrounds of MS 172 with a lot of our shared friends.
Right, and it's been great for them too, because a lot of people are getting involved in the campaign.
Good.
And the local support is being demonstrated for me. I have over 100 people, individuals, who live in my district that have given money to my campaign. Very few campaigns. Actually, I believe I have the most in-district contributions.
In-district contributions.
Of all the candidates. And you know what? Those are over 100 people that are ready and willing and able to organize for me for this election, and are already committed to vote for me. And I have a team of over 100 people working for me nonstop.
Excellent. So let us hear a little bit about Ali, the professional before the public servant. You went to college in Ohio, but you came back to New York for your law school education. What was your academic life like?
It was rigorous, and law school was really demanding, and I learned a lot. It made me a much better thinker, and it was one of the best academic experiences of my life. It was definitely brutal at times, but I encourage anybody that's interested in being an attorney to do it. I know there are a lot of questions about the value of law school and people deciding whether they should go or not. I'm a big believer in it, and I think you should go because you want to be an attorney and you want to have the tools to analyze and think and be an advocate. And that's really essentially what I've always wanted to be in my life, is an advocate.
An advocate.
And that's what I've been doing since I graduated law school. I've got the chance to work for Councilmember Mark Weprin.
So tell us about that. That's actually my next question. You have actually experience serving on the same office, on the same team that you're actually running for, within the same exact district.
Right.
So it must be a beautiful match. What did you learn from that experience working with the former council member?
Right. Look, the reason there's a vacancy now is because Mark Weprin resigned to go work for the governor. And so I'm proud that I worked for Mark, and I had got the chance to be his legislative director and his attorney. And I'm actually the only candidate in this race that has city council experience. And so I'm ready to take this job on. I know what it takes to go hard for the community and deliver results on day one. I know what it's like to get legislation passed. I know what it's like to write laws because I've written laws. And I also know what the politics are, and I know what happens in the back room and what politicians are like when the cameras are not on. And I know all the ways to get things done. And so it's a tremendous asset for me. It's one that I think voters will definitely value and believe in. And I'm proud that I have this experience.
We're so proud to have you on our show, but most of our viewers at home aren't necessarily living in that district. Tell us a little bit about your work throughout New York City, just so, in case you have friends and family members who actually live between 188th Street and 267th Street. Give them a call, let them know about watching Ali on our show. I mean, tell us about your work throughout New York City.
Look, I've been privileged to be part of organizations and movements that are active in all over New York City. The Alliance of South Asian American Labor, ASAL, is an organization that really groomed me and allowed me to be involved in politics and be involved with labor unions. And my affiliation with that organization has given me a tremendous boost in this election. In fact, labor unions are very important in elections like this, and for them to know that I was the former political director of the South Asian American
So you have
Labor
the full support of ASAL, and if anyone's unfamiliar with ASAL, a lot of folks know another community organizer who's a little bit older than Ali and myself, Mr. Maf Uddin. I call him Maf Uncle.
Right.
So you have a lot of support from that union, and please continue.
And you know what? People like Maf and so many other people in ASAL have also been prepping me for labor union screenings, which is a really huge thing and a privilege to have. And so, and building relationships in labor unions that are going to be delivering votes for me on September 10th. I also had the chance to form a political club called the Muslim Democratic Club.
That was my next question. So what went into that? The Muslim Democratic Club of New York. You're one of the co-founders.
Right.
What's the mission of MDCNY?
Yeah.
And how can folks at home who want to become more involved in the political process become more familiar or connected to MDCNY?
Look, there was a very, very tough political moment for the Muslim community a couple of years ago related to the overzealous and unconstitutional surveillance of mosques and the Muslim community. I mean, they got to a point where we felt like our civil rights were being trampled on, and it really came from a place of political weakness. Well, a couple of us got together and said, we're not in the business of political weakness. And so what we wanted to do was make a huge impact on the 2013 mayoral race, and we spent a year developing the vision and the plan for this club, and we launched it just in time for the election. And we made endorsements. We're one of the few organizations that make endorsements in this community. And we're not saying we speak for everybody. We mostly speak for our dues-paying members.
Yeah.
But we have the interests of the larger Muslim community in our mission and in our political work. And so what we've been doing is we've been actively involved in elections, endorsing candidates, and most importantly, building the capacity of individual Muslim Americans to be better political organizers. And I am proud that my campaign has been so well run by members of the Muslim Democratic Club, and that I'm on the ballot because of the petition carrying from members of this club.
I've had a chance to meet many of your colleagues in the MDCNY, and they're a really, really sincere, fantastic bunch. We're going to have to break for a short commercial break right now, Ali. You're watching Time Chat. Our guest is Ali Nazmi, City Council candidate. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome to Time Chat. I'm your host, Dr. Ivan Khan. Before our commercial break, we were speaking with City Council candidate Ali Nazmi. Welcome back. So, Ali, before we left for break, you were speaking about MDCNY and all the work that has helped bring not only the current mayor, de Blasio, to prominence as the current mayor, but how has working with them, how do you hope to improve after getting elected? How do you hope to improve the relationship between law enforcement and the Muslim community?
I think that, look, after getting elected, one of the big messages that we're going to send through New York City and state is that the Muslim community is very active in politics.
Yep,
and
that's right.
Look, we're privileged that we have had 2 members of the community elected already. We had Councilmember Robert Jackson, an African American from Uptown Manhattan, and who was a councilman. And now we also have Danique Miller, who's actually from the district right next door, an African American who's been elected. And I
Mashallah.
think that what we haven't seen is a South Asian person elected, a South Asian Muslim person elected, or anybody that looks like us or watching on TV right now. And so we want to send a clear signal to the city and state that this community is completely involved and we know how to win elections. And we're not going to allow anybody to step on us. And I look forward to being an advocate and also, not only an advocate, but a watchdog on these institutions that are policing us, surveilling us, and making sure that, you know what, look, if there's a legitimate situation or threat, yes, investigate it to the bone. But don't come in and send agent provocateurs to disrupt our organizations, disrupt our mosques, go on a whitewater rafting trip with an MSA and completely ruin the trip for the kids because you started talking all sorts of terrorist mumbo jumbo that no one was interested in, and that went too far.
Okay.
And I'm proud that we have a mayor right now who actually felt that that did go too far as well.
Okay.
And has for the most part shut down those programs. But what we need to send is a clear signal that this is a voting community. We are voting. And if you are going to violate our civil rights, we will vote against you.
But we cannot do that unless the folks show up on Thursday, September 10th.
That's correct.
So if you're watching at home and if you have colleagues, friends, family, relatives, anything, all of the above, who live between 188th Street in Queens to the county line where Nassau County, Long Island starts, give them a call, tell them about Ali Najmi, and make sure they come out to vote on Thursday, September 10th.
Yes.
Ali, what would an ideal District 23 look like once you're elected? Give it 3 to 5 years. You're elected this year. It'll take a couple of years for you to achieve some major programs. What would an ideal District 23 look like in 3 to 5 years?
Look, I think the ideal district is going to look like this. It's going to be a district where kids can get up every day, go to school, and have the same opportunity that I had, and that their dreams will be fulfilled. They're going to have a classroom that's not overcrowded. They're going to have a school that they don't have to worry about being decimated or turned into something else, something like a prison even, and that they have the chance to go to medical school or law school or whatever it is that they want to do. I want that to be the reality for every single student in my district. Secondly, I want to make sure that resources are distributed evenly.
Okay.
Right now, I felt like certain parts of districts have been really neglected.
Okay.
So, we have, as a council member, I'm going to have $760,000 in programmatic money and $4 million in capital money under my sole control to the benefit of my district. And I'm going to make sure that that money is spread evenly across all communities and across all geographical sections of this district.
So if we have folks at home who run not-for-profits or any type of similar community-based organization, they should be paying attention if they have some close ties to you, because they could be they could collaborate with you once you're elected.
Absolutely, and I'm going to have an open door policy. I mean, this is going to be the public's money. It's the people's money. And so the people should have an idea on where it should go. And so participatory budgeting is going to be a key platform of mine, and we're going to take input. And especially if anybody watching has an idea on a program that they think should be funded within the boundaries of this district, I'm absolutely willing to fund it.
So let's step outside the district for just a second. As a city council member, you're not only responsible for representing your district out in eastern Queens, but the good societal health of all of New York City and all of New Yorkers. What would an ideal New York City look like in 5 to 7 years?
You're right, Ivan. I'm going to be one of 51 members of the council. And this is basically the legislative body of the whole city. And I think that one of the biggest citywide platforms I'm running on is police accountability and criminal justice reform. And as a criminal defense attorney, I've had the front row seat on some of the injustices imposed on people in the court system, in the criminal justice system. People are arrested unfairly, people are targeted, and unfortunately, in some communities, we've seen police actually murder people.
Yeah.
I've been the only candidate in this race that had even bothered to mention Eric Garner's name on the 1-year death anniversary that just passed. And I held a vigil with local pastors. I think that we, as a South Asian community, need to understand the importance of working in a coalition with people of color throughout the city.
So together.
And Eric Garner's death and murder is a tragedy for the Bangladeshi American community.
And it could have happened to any of us. It could have happened to my uncle. It could have happened to your uncle. It could have happened to any of our fathers. So if it could happen to Eric Garner, it could really happen to any person of color. You have a chance to work with a lot of Bangladeshi leaders. And most of our community is, we're spread throughout New York City.
Right.
What would you like to see from Bangladeshi neighbors in the Jamaica Queens side or within your own district? I mean, you've already have the support of an overwhelming number of Bangladeshi New Yorkers.
Look, I want to make sure that people will be able to get services even if they don't speak English. And if they speak a language as beautiful as Bengali, I want that language spoken in my office, at a senior center that they live nearby, and at a library that they are trying to attend to. And so that's my first priority for the Bangladeshi community.
আপনারা যদি বাংলায় কথা বলতে হয়, ইংলিশ না জানলেও ইনশাল্লাহ আলী নাজমি যখন ইলেক্টেড হবে আপনারা অবশ্যই এসে বাংলা ইংলিশ না ওরকম ভাবে না পারলেও আপনার আলী সবসময় আপনাদের জন্য আছে. Please go on.
So, and right now we don't have that. You know, I actually have worked with the comptroller of the city of New York and wrote a letter to the Department of the Aging about this issue of senior services and language services. And we informed them that, listen, there are not enough services right now being mandated through your funding for in other languages other than English. They wrote back and said, we don't have a policy. Our policy is that unless 30% of those seniors already enrolled at a senior center already speak that language, we're not going to require that they have instruction in that language. That's a catch-22. If you don't speak the language, they're not going to come.
So inshallah, after you're elected, we're going to make sure to bridge that gap, and even if you don't know the specific, even if you don't know English, you're still going to be heard.
Right.
Last few questions, more of a personal nature. How would your friends describe you, Ali?
Oh, wow. I mean, I'd like to think that they describe me as somebody that's passionate about the community, you know, a zealous advocate for the people that are in need, somebody that cares about those that need help, and somebody that knows how to win elections.
So, as everyone you know at home knows, if you've been watching Time Chat for the past year, and if you know any of my work, I'm an extremely proud New Yorker, but I'm also even more proud Bangladeshi New Yorker.
Sure.
Tell me about some of your favorite Bangladeshi restaurants and some of your favorite Bangladeshi foods, so everyone watching at home know how close you are to our community.
You know, I love the Bangladeshi community, and I'm proud that I have so much support from the Bangladeshi community. In fact, a disproportionate number of my donors to my campaign are Bangladeshi New Yorkers. And that's all public, and people can challenge me on that, and you can see the list of names. And you know, I'm proud that I've you know, very close to so many significant Bangladeshi leaders. You know, I've spent and held a lot of meetings in, you know, Sagar Chinese restaurant, all over the place.
So Sagar Chinese.
Right.
The real question is, what are your favorite dishes, some of the places? We know about all the leadership in our community.
Well, listen, I mean...
Talk about the home stuff.
Look, I mean, a lot of dishes overlap, but one of the most unique Bengali dishes that I love is, of course, the fish curry.
Okay.
And, you know, rasgulla to end it. Why not? And, you know, the thing that I really... really enjoy is just the spirit of the Bangladeshi people, which is one, and I've been to Bangladesh.
Excellent.
I'm the only candidate in this race that's been to Bangladesh.
Wow, fantastic.
And so, you know, I went to Dhaka a couple of years ago, and I got to really see, and you know, I got to understand some of the, you know, it's a challenging life in Bangladesh.
Of course.
Even just physically, right? Just like the terrain, some of the natural environment, but that put a lot of things in context for me. Perseverance and persistence is, I think, sort of a trademark of this community. And
perseverance, right?
And I'm also proud that a lot of my best door knockers right now are Bangladeshi, and it's that
awesome.
That perseverance. That's
your family must be really proud of you, Ali. Tell us a little bit about your family before the final message for our viewers.
Sure. You know, I'm really happy to have the support of my family. You know, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, but my mom and my two sisters have been very active in my campaign. And you know, my mom's probably calling voters right now and telling them that her son's running for office and they should vote for me. So everybody's in, all hands on deck. This is a race that's very winnable. The numbers are there. We know what we're doing. It's very data driven, and people that are really excited about that, because you know, every day I wake up and I get an email from my team. This is how many voters we talked to last night. This is how many people said yes. This is where we should be. This is how much better we're doing than what our original goal was.
Ali, before we go to our closing remarks, what one final message do you have for viewers at home? As you know, Time Television's viewers expand not only in the outer boroughs, starting with your district, but all over New York City, all over the United States, and even the country. What final message do you have?
You know, my message to the viewers is that, you know, we cannot just sit back and allow people to dictate what our future is going to be. We have to get up, we have to organize, and we have to vote. And unless we vote, we're not going to get anywhere as a community. And so everybody at Time Television needs to get up, go to voteforali.com, VOTEFOR Ali.com, and sign up to be a volunteer. If you don't live in my district, that doesn't mean you can't organize. I need you to come out and volunteer, knock on some doors, and if you've never worked on a campaign before, I guarantee you this will be a wonderful experience for you, and you will learn the American democratic process better than anywhere else.
Ali, thank you so much. Best of luck on the remaining portion of the campaign. Can't wait to be there on September 10th to see you get past the primary on your way to becoming our next city council member.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So, we just had a chance to hear from the man himself, New York City Council candidate Ali Najmi. As you all learned, public service is increasingly becoming a career destination for tomorrow's youth. Millennials, or those that grew up after the turn of the century, are more and more leaning towards professions that are both financially secure and impactful for society. Similar to today's guest Ali Najmi, President Barack Obama's career was defined by his transitioning from a background in corporate law to a shift to community organizing and public service. Though African Americans have been in this country for hundreds of years, it wasn't until the 1960s that African American leaders led the civil rights movement. Over time, slowly but surely, we've seen African American leaders become mayors, congressmen and congresswomen, U.S. senators, and of course, eventually earn the presidency of the United States. Today's guest, Ali Najmi, is no different. Ali's vision and goal to become the first South Asian City Council member is just the beginning for all South Asians in New York. After the next census in 2020, we'll have the latest facts and figures on our growing community. Who knows, at that time, we may have seen numerous South Asians elected to public office, all thanks to our pioneer, Ali Najmi. In the next few weeks, we'll get to speak to numerous Bangladeshi professionals who have taken similar paths at serving their communities in various ways. Until then, thank you for joining us on Time Chat. I'm your host, Dr. Ivan Khan. I hope to see you next week, and always pay it forward.